Everything all right, miss?
What's your name?
I don't know.
What is your address?
I don't know.
How about your birthday?
I don't know.
Congratulations, beautiful. You were phenomenal in Homecoming. So congratulations. I just want to, you're welcome. I just want to start by asking, for this being your first leading role in a series, how does it feel to know that you're playing this fearless queer woman?
Well, I am super thankful that, Julia Roberts passed the baton to me. It's such a high honor, and it's been a beautiful experience getting to work with this cast and work with my director, Kyle Patrick Alvarez, who is a phenomenal director and just kind soul. I think that one of the great things about this show is that it has a lot to say. And I wake up in this boat, right, as Jackie, and I have no memory. I don't know my identity, and you're going on this journey with me to self-discovery, me trying to uncover this new mystery. What happened to me? And as I go on this journey, every time I think I'm getting closer to the truth, I get closer to a lie. People's stories impact minds in ways that I just don't know about. So the plot twists are super fun, but also nerve-wracking. And all of the things that I loved about the first season, from the cinematography, the way they zoom in on the nuances and the details, and how binge-worthy the episodes are because they're so short, which I kind of wish they were longer. And how it's such a psychological thriller. All of those things are there, and I feel like the action was anteed up on. I feel like the stakes are even higher.
It was hard for me to come down here, okay? There's no one I can... It's hard for me to talk about this.
I'm sorry.
So you were phenomenal in season 1 of Homecoming, where you starred alongside Julia Roberts, and I believe that she gave you some advice about season 1. Did you give Janelle Monáe any advice now that she's starring in season 2?
No, I didn't give Janelle any advice. Thankfully, Janelle was probably, top 5 Homecoming fan. So she was well versed. She already was familiar with the show.
Now, what separates or differentiates season 2 from season 1, besides the obvious, Janelle Monáe starring?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is it kind of has a little bit of a different feel. It's a different director this season, and Kyle Patrick Alvarez, who does an incredible job of just, giving the show a new sort of feeling, while still being connected to that first season. But, speaking for myself, I think, people got to see a Walter that was a little bit aloof, a little bit innocent, naive in that first season. This season, you're getting a Walter who, he's asking the questions, he's asking the tough questions about what took place in that first season. And honestly, he wants answers. So he's a little bit of a man on a mission.
Now, if we ever get back to normal or some semblance of normalcy, what long-term effects do you think the pandemic will have on the entertainment industry moving forward?
Yeah, well, I think, certainly people are going to have to get used to a new normal. Aside from all the economic things that are happening, people losing money from projects, funding, things like that. I think obviously there's just going to be a new sort of layout and in terms of how people go back to work. Respecting, sort of hand washing and cleanliness, sort of things like that, and physical distancing too, even while on set.
Before this pandemic imploded, you were having such an incredible year, from opening the Oscars to your first major motion picture leading role in Antebellum to now this Amazon series. Now that the world has completely changed, how is the pandemic affecting you? And how do you think it will affect the art that you create?
Well, one, I don't know what time it is, what day it is. Is time even real? What universe are we on right now? It feels like one big bad science fiction movie that I'm ready, for it to end. Um, as it pertains to creativity, I'm not like in the studio recording right now. I'm not as because my music and even like film career and artist career is tied to reality, and I don't think I have a good sense of reality right now. I'm still trying to grasp, still trying to uncover the mystery here.
One thing I do want to touch on is just Little Richard, because we're in a pandemic, but we're losing legends. Um, him, as an electrifying performer who fused everything from gospel to sexuality to theatrics, he reminds me so much. You reminded me of so much of him. Can you speak to how, his legacy and how he influenced you?
I mean, Little Richard is rock and roll. I think that Little Richard has inspired many different artists who went on to get accolades, who went on to sell more records than he has. But he is the DNA. He is the blueprint, and um, I wished he would have gotten a little bit. I wish that his presence was felt stronger than what it was, but that's just me being selfish. I think that now him being uh, a part of all of us now, I think that we will not forget the impact that Little Richard made, and I think that his story is one that we should study. How we also during that time, how folks treated Little Richard, from segregation to his sexuality, all of that. How some folks ostracized him. I think this is a teachable moment as well, and I think that's the thing that we always have to take away is what do we learn from his life, and how can we better become allies to the future Little Richards, although there will only be one Little Richard.